Admiral John Carter stood at the large window of Earth Space Station Alpha, watching the alien ship approach. It was unlike anything humans had ever built, smooth, curved, and glowing with a soft blue light. The ship was 5 times bigger than Earth's largest vessel. "They're ready to dock, sir," said Lieutenant Mary Cole from her station. Carter nodded. His stomach felt tight. This meeting would change human history forever. 3 months ago, humanity had successfully tested its first faster-than-light drive. Just 2 weeks later, alien signals had arrived, followed by this massive ship. The Galactic Council, they called themselves. A group of alien species who governed most of the known galaxy. Carter straightened his uniform and walked to the docking bay with Mary and 4 other officers. Security teams lined the walls, nervous but professional. The airlock hissed open. 7 different alien species walked through. Carter tried not to stare. The leader was tall and thin like a praying mantis, with 4 arms and large, complex eyes. Behind it came beings of all shapes. One like a floating jellyfish, another resembling a furry lizard walking on 2 legs. Admiral Carter, the mantis-like being, spoke through a translator device. "I am Ambassador Zixlar of the Galactic Council. We come with peaceful intentions." Carter stepped forward. "Welcome to Earth Space Station Alpha. I represent the United Earth Defense Fleet." The meeting room was prepared with special chairs to accommodate the various alien bodies. Scientists and diplomats from Earth joined them, including Lisa Reeves, Earth's top diplomat. "We were surprised by your development of faster-than-light travel," said Zixlar. "Most species require guidance to achieve this technology." Lisa Reeves smiled politely. "Humans have always been resourceful." Zixlar's large eyes blinked. "Indeed, that is why we are here. The galaxy is a complex place with many dangers. The Council offers protection and guidance to developing species like yours." For 6 hours, the aliens explained their proposal. Earth would join the Galactic Council as a protectorate member. They would receive technology, protection, and limited trading rights. When the aliens left for their ship to allow the humans time to review the full treaty, Carter, Reeves, and the Earth team gathered in a secure room. Reeves pointed to specific sections on her tablet. "These terms are concerning. Section 12 limits our military ships to 50, all under Council supervision. Section 24 restricts our colonies to our immediate solar system," added Dr. Ben Walsh, reading further. Carter frowned. "And they want full access to all our technology and research." "This isn't a treaty between equals," said Reeves. "It's a list of restrictions designed to keep us controlled." The next day, when the Council representatives returned, they seemed confident. "We have reviewed your treaty," said Carter. Zixlar's body language showed anticipation. The Council had never been rejected before. In 3,000 years, every species had accepted their terms. "Earth must respectfully decline," Carter said firmly. The room went silent. The jellyfish-like alien actually changed color. "Perhaps you misunderstand the benefits," Zixlar began. Lisa Reeves stepped forward. "We understand perfectly. But humans will not accept limitations on our growth or sovereignty. We propose instead open diplomatic relations as equals." "Equals?" The furry lizard alien made a sound like a laugh. "Your species has barely left its solar system." Carter smiled. "True, but we got there ourselves, and we'll go further the same way." He stood taller. "Unless the Council wishes to pursue a relationship of mutual respect, we have nothing more to discuss." As the aliens departed, clearly flustered, Carter watched their ship from the window again. "Did we make a mistake?" asked Mary, standing beside him. "No," said Carter. "We just showed the galaxy that humanity won't be controlled." He turned to her with determination in his eyes. "And that might be the most important message we ever send." The great council chamber on Centauri Prime buzzed with nervous voices. Hundreds of aliens from over 30 species sat in curved rows that rose up like a giant bowl. At the center stood Elder Thoxpa, a being made of living crystal who had seen over 400 years of galactic politics. "Silence," called Foxfa, and the chamber grew quiet. We face an unprecedented situation. On the large screen behind him appeared an image of Earth. Humans have rejected our standard treaty, continued Foxfa. This has never happened in Council history. Ambassador Zixlar stepped forward. I led the first contact team. Humans are unusual. They developed faster than light travel without any guidance. Their history shows a pattern of conflict, yet they have survived several near-extinction events. Are they dangerous? Asked a small blue alien from the third row. All independent species are potentially dangerous, replied Zixlar. But humans show concerning levels of independence. They question everything. Ambassador Krell, a large reptilian being covered in dark scales, rose from his seat. His species, the Vorn, were known for their military power within the Council. We should contain them now, Krell said, his voice deep and threatening. Any species that rejects Council authority cannot be trusted. Many Council members nodded in agreement. We should study them further, countered Zixlar. Hasty action could be unwise. Just then, the chamber doors opened. A human walked in, causing whispers to spread through the room. It was Sam Miller, recently appointed as Earth's first ambassador to the stars. Forgive my interruption, said Sam with a confident smile. Earth has sent me to present our counter-proposal. Foxfa's crystal body flashed with surprise colors. Counter-proposal. This is irregular. Sam was given permission to speak. He stood at the center of the chamber, looking small but unafraid among the alien representatives. Earth appreciates the Council's offer, Sam began. But we propose an alternative. Earth will join the Galactic Council as a full and equal member, with the same rights as founding species. The chamber erupted in shocked voices. No new species had ever demanded equal standing immediately upon joining. Impossible, shouted Krell. Your species is barely 200,000 years old. Some council members have histories spanning millions of years. Sam remained calm. Age does not determine worth, Ambassador Krell. Humanity offers fresh perspectives and innovative solutions. What do humans bring to the Council that we don't already have? Asked another alien representative. Adaptability, answered Sam. In our short history, humans have faced countless challenges and overcome them all. We learn quickly and think differently. These qualities have value. Elder Foxfa studied the human with interest. Your proposal will need to be considered carefully. It has no precedent. Take all the time you need, said Sam. Meanwhile, Earth continues to develop its space program and establish colonies in nearby star systems. This announcement caused another wave of concern among the Council members. Most new species waited for Council approval before expanding. After Sam left, the Council debated for hours. Zixlar reviewed human history for the Assembly, showing how these beings had survived ice ages, plagues, wars, and environmental disasters. They adapt and grow stronger with each challenge, Zixlar concluded. This makes them unpredictable. Elder Foxfa's crystal form pulsed with deep thought. In 3,000 years of Council history, we have incorporated 217 species into our union. All accepted our guidance and protection. None have ever demanded equality from the start. Ambassador Krell growled. Because they are arrogant and dangerous, we should act now, while they are still limited to a small region of space. No, decided Foxfa. We will create a new treaty, one that appears more generous but still ensures proper control. Humans must be guided into the correct place within our galactic order. But as the meeting ended, many council members felt uneasy. Something about these humans was different, and for the first time in centuries, the Great Galactic Council felt afraid. General Alice Blackwood walked through the heavy security doors of Earth Defense Command. The underground facility was built deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, safe from orbital scans. Her footsteps echoed in the corridor as she made her way to the Intelligence Division. Major Frank Daniels waited for her in a room with no windows. On the table lay a folder marked Top Secret. The alien finally talked, asked Blackwood. Daniels nodded. Yes, General. 3 days of comfortable treatment and respectful questions worked better than any pressure would have. 2 months ago, Earth security forces had captured an alien observer during an unauthorized landing near Chicago. The being, called a Narvet, had been collecting information about human military capabilities. Instead of treating the alien as a prisoner, Earth had treated it as an honored guest who had simply broken protocol. "Show me what we learned," ordered Blackwood. Daniels activated the wall screen. The Narvet was surprisingly open once it realized we meant no harm. It seems the entire council structure is built on one principle: control. The screen showed historical records from a dozen alien worlds. The founding council species evolved as prey animals on their home worlds, continued Daniels. Their natural instinct is to avoid conflict through rules and structure. When they encountered aggressive species in space, they developed a system to contain them. Blackwood studied the information. "So they're afraid of us." "Terrified would be more accurate, General," replied Daniels. "Their historical records show multiple extinction events caused by warlike species. Their treaties aren't diplomatic documents. They're control mechanisms. And they've never been rejected before," mused Blackwood. "Never. Our refusal doesn't fit their understanding of how developing species should behave." Daniels switched the display to show Council military assets. "They have impressive technology, but their combat doctrine is weak. They haven't fought a real war in thousands of years." Blackwood studied the data carefully. "Their ships are advanced, but their tactics are basic. They rely on overwhelming numbers, not strategy." "Exactly," said Daniels. "And there's something else." He pulled up a new file. The Narvet mentioned something called void entities at the galaxy's edge. The Council is monitoring them with great concern. A potential threat. One they've been hiding from newer species. Apparently, these void entities have destroyed several outer colonies. The Council is afraid, but doesn't know how to fight them. Blackwood walked the large map of human space on the wall. In the 3 months since first contact, humanity had doubled its shipbuilding efforts and accelerated its expansion to nearby stars. "We don't want war with the Council," she said quietly, "but we won't accept being controlled either." "What's our next move?" asked Daniels. Blackwood pointed to several star systems on the map. "We continue expanding our defensive perimeter. We establish colonies here, here, and here. We develop better shields based on the technology we've observed from their ships." A young officer entered with a message. "General, the Council has sent a new diplomatic team. They're requesting a meeting to present a revised treaty." Blackwood shared a knowing look with Daniels. "Right on schedule. Let's see what kind of control they're trying to establish this time." Later that day, in her private office, Blackwood reviewed the defense readiness reports. Earth now had 27 warships with faster-than-light capability. Not enough to win a war against the Council's vast fleets, but enough to make any attack costly. On her desk sat the personal files of Admiral Carter and Ambassador Miller. Both were doing excellent work representing humanity among the stars, but it was Blackwood's job to prepare for the worst while they hoped for the best. "We come in peace," she said to herself, repeating the message humanity had broadcast to the stars. Then she added quietly, "But we come prepared." Outside her window, new recruits trained in the use of adapted alien technology. Humanity was learning quickly, perhaps too quickly for the Council's comfort. Ambassador Diane Wong sat at the large glass table, her face calm despite the tension in the room. Across from her, 3 alien representatives waited for Earth's response to their second treaty proposal. This meeting took place on the neutral space station orbiting Mars, a new facility built to host diplomatic talks. Wong had spent 3 days reviewing the document with her team. The Council had been clever this time. The military restrictions were less obvious, hidden behind friendly offers of protection and joint patrols. "We appreciate the Council's revised proposal," Wong said, her voice steady. "However, Earth must again decline." The lead alien, the blue-skinned being named Trill, blinked its 4 eyes rapidly. Ambassador Wang, perhaps you misunderstand the benefits we offer. The trade routes alone would increase Earth's prosperity by 30%. Wang smiled politely. The benefits are clear, Ambassador Trill. But so are the costs. She highlighted several sections on her tablet. These trade agreements would make Earth dependent on Council resources within 5 years. These technology exchanges require us to share all our innovations while receiving only selected Council technologies in return. Trill's skin darkened slightly. Such arrangements protect developing worlds from advancing too quickly. It is for your benefit. Earth will determine what benefits Earth, replied Wang firmly. We remain open to equal partnership, but not to controlled integration. After the aliens departed, Wang contacted Earth Defense Command. General Blackwood's face appeared on the secure screen. They didn't take the rejection well, Wang reported. Their body language showed genuine confusion. They don't understand why we keep saying no. Blackwood nodded. Their psychology can't comprehend our desire for independence. It frightens them. What's our next move? Keep communication open. Meanwhile, we've got something they need to see. On Centauri Prime, the Council's central meeting chamber was in chaos. High Counselor Vexrel, an ancient being with tentacles and eyes that saw beyond normal space, called for order. Our intelligence reports are confirmed, Vexrel announced. Humans have established 3 new colonies beyond their solar system without Council approval. Worse, they have developed shield technology similar to our own in just 4 months. Ambassador Zixlar stepped forward. This rate of adaptation is unprecedented. They are studying our technology and improving upon it. A hologram appeared in the center of the chamber, showing human ships with new weapon systems. The design was different from Council vessels, but clearly incorporated alien principles. How is this possible? Asked Ambassador Krell. Their minds should not be able to understand our science so quickly. Human brains form connections differently, explained the Council's chief scientist. They make creative leaps that our species find difficult. High Counselor Vexrel's tentacles waved in agitation. Twice we have offered them the standard path to membership. Twice they have rejected our wisdom. Our models cannot predict their behavior. The chamber fell silent as Vexrel continued. For the first time in Council history, I recommend we consider a preemptive security action. The human expansion must be contained before it threatens galactic stability. Back on Earth, President William Harding reviewed the latest defense preparations in the White House Situation Room. Holographic displays showed Earth's growing fleet and new colony sites. Our intelligence suggests the Council is growing increasingly concerned, reported General Blackwood. They may be considering military options. President Harding frowned. We've done nothing threatening. We've merely refused to be controlled. To the Council, independence itself is threatening, explained Blackwood. They've governed through control for 3,000 years. We're the first species to say no and mean it. Can we defend ourselves if they attack? Asked the President. Admiral Carter nodded. Not against their full force, but we can make any action against us extremely costly. They know this. We want peace, said President Harding, looking at the star map showing humanity's position in the galaxy. But we're prepared for the alternative. There's one more thing, added Blackwood. Our deep space monitors have detected unusual energy signatures from beyond the Orion Arm. They match what our Narvit visitor described as void entities. The President's eyes narrowed. So the threat the Council fears is real. Perhaps this is an opportunity. Sir, if they won't accept us as equals, maybe they'll accept us as protectors. Council military strategist Urkon, a 6-limbed being with silver skin, stood before the emergency session of the Galactic Security Committee. His presentation showed detailed maps of human expansion throughout the nearby star systems. Humans are expanding faster than any species we have encountered, said Urkon. They have established 12 colonies in just 3 years. Their ships now patrol this entire region. The committee members shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Elder Thoxva's crystal form pulsed with worried colors. "What about their weapons?" asked Ambassador Krell. Urkon changed the display to show a human battleship. Their vessels are now armed with energy weapons our sensors cannot fully analyze. They appear to have taken our basic shield technology and modified it in ways our scientists don't fully understand. "Impossible," said a committee member. "No species could adapt our technology so quickly." "Humans are different," replied Urkon simply. "They think differently. They take risks we would never consider." Just then, a messenger entered the chamber and whispered to Elder Foxfay. The Elder's colors shifted to shock. "A human diplomatic vessel has just arrived," announced Foxfa. "They are requesting an immediate audience." When Ambassador Karen Lee entered the chamber, many council members had never seen a human in person before. She was shorter than most alien representatives, but walked with confidence that made the room take notice. "Thank you for seeing me without appointment," said Lee, bowing slightly to Elder Foxfay. "Earth sends greetings and a proposal that cannot wait." The council members looked at each other with suspicion. Humans had rejected 2 treaties already. "What proposal could be so urgent?" asked Foxfay. Lee activated a small device. A hologram appeared showing strange energy patterns. These readings were captured by our deep space monitoring stations at the edge of the Orion Arm. "We believe they match what you call the void entities." The chamber went completely silent. The void entities were the Council's most closely guarded secret, mysterious beings from the darkness between galaxies that had destroyed several outer colonies. "How could they know about the void entities?" whispered Elder Foxfa to Ambassador Zixlar. "More importantly," replied Zixlar quietly, "why would they offer to help us against a threat that has the entire Council terrified?" Lee continued speaking. "Earth proposes a mutual defense agreement. Our ships will help patrol the borders of Council space. Together, we can defend against this common threat." Ambassador Krell stood up angrily. "This is a trick. Humans seek to learn our defensive capabilities." Lee turned to face him calmly. "If we wanted to learn your defenses, we wouldn't need to offer help. Our intelligence gathering has been quite effective already." This statement sent another wave of shock through the chamber. "What Ambassador Lee means," Zixlar quickly added, trying to calm the situation, "is that information sharing benefits everyone." "Exactly," said Lee with a smile. "We know about the attacks on your outer colonies. We know the Council's standard military doctrine has been ineffective against these entities. Humans have a different approach to combat that might help." Elder Thoxpa studied the human carefully. "Why would Earth help defend Council space when you have rejected membership twice?" "Because the void entities won't stop at Council borders," Lee replied. "Earth understands that some threats require cooperation, even between different political systems. We don't need to be under your control to be your allies." The concept seemed to confuse many Council members. In their experience, control and alliance were the same thing. "We need time to consider this proposal," said Elder Thoxfa finally. "Of course," replied Lee. "But I should mention, our sensors suggest the void entities' movements have accelerated in the past month. Time may be something we don't have much of." As Ambassador Lee left the chamber, the Council erupted in debate. Some saw the human offer as genuine, others as a clever trap. But all agreed on one thing: humans continued to behave in ways their models could not predict. And nothing frightened the Galactic Council more than unpredictability. Junior Council member Drav paced in his private chamber. The young Telnarian had only joined the Council 3 years ago, but he had already formed a faction of like-minded representatives who believed the old ways were too soft. The humans needed to be shown their place in the galactic order. "The Council talks while humans grow stronger each day," Drav said to his 5 supporters gathered in the room. "Ambassador Lee's proposal is clearly meant to divide us." "What do you suggest?" asked Mira, a feathered being who controlled a significant military force. Drav activated a holographic display showing a human colony on Proxima Centauri b. This is their most important outer settlement. It houses their new weapons research facility. My sources confirm it is still lightly defended as they focus on their other colonies. The full council would never approve an attack, warned another member. Which is why we won't ask for approval, replied Drav. A small containment action, using our personal security forces, will show humans that defiance has consequences. Once it's done, the council will have no choice but to support our actions. The group nodded in agreement, not realizing that this decision would change the galaxy forever. 3 days later, Admiral Ryan Douglas of Earth's Third Fleet was reviewing reports in his office aboard the flagship Unity when alarms blared throughout the ship. Admiral, his communications officer called urgently, "We're receiving emergency signals from Proxima Colony. They're under attack." Douglas rushed to the command center. The tactical display showed 12 alien vessels firing on the colony's defensive systems. "Those are council ships," said his second-in-command. Douglas's face hardened. "Alert all ships in the fleet. Set course for Proxima at maximum speed." Before the orders could be carried out, another officer called out, "Sir, the quantum communications network just detected energy buildups in the attacking fleet 8 hours ago. Defense Command has already dispatched response units." Douglas watched in amazement as the tactical display updated. 6 human stealth vessels suddenly appeared around the attacking council ships. They had been there waiting, having detected the attack preparations through Earth's new quantum entanglement communication system that allowed instant transmission of information across any distance. What happened next stunned even the experienced admiral. The human vessels deployed a new weapon system that targeted the propulsion units of the alien ships with pinpoint accuracy. Within minutes, all 12 council vessels were disabled but completely intact, with no alien casualties. "Defense Command reports the situation is contained," said the communications officer. "No human casualties. All attackers disabled and crews captured." Back on Centauri Prime, the main council chamber had descended into chaos. The emergency session had been called the moment the attack was detected, but events had moved too quickly. "How did they know?" shouted Ambassador Krell. "How were they waiting for our ships?" Elder Foxva's crystal form pulsed with anger. "Who authorized this attack?" This was not approved by the full council. Drav and his supporters sat in stunned silence. Their containment action had been neutralized before it even properly began. The chamber's main screen activated without warning. President William Harding's face appeared, his expression serious but controlled. "Members of the Galactic Council," he began, "an unprovoked attack was just made against a peaceful Earth colony. Our response was measured and precise. No lives were lost on either side." The council members watched in shocked silence. "We have captured your vessels and crews," continued Harding. "They will be treated well and returned safely. But know this, Earth came to this galaxy in peace. We still desire peace, but we will not be subjugated or attacked." His eyes seemed to meet each council member's gaze through the screen. "Your move, councilors." When the transmission ended, the chamber remained silent for several long moments. Finally, Ambassador Zixlor spoke. "The humans could have destroyed those ships and killed everyone aboard. Instead, they disabled them with no casualties. That was not the action of a warlike species. Their technology is far more advanced than they revealed," said Elder Thoxvok quietly. "They have been watching us while we thought we were watching them." For the first time in the Council's long history, they faced a species they could neither predict nor control. And the realization was terrifying. Dr. Olivia Parker bent over her desk, surrounded by alien historical texts and biological data. As Earth's leading xenoanthropologist, she had been studying Council species for months, trying to understand why relations remained so strained despite humanity's peaceful intentions. "I think I've found it," she said to herself, excitement building as connections formed in her mind. She quickly called for an emergency meeting with the Joint Earth Council diplomatic team that had formed after the Proxima incident. 2 hours later, she stood before a mixed group of humans and aliens in a conference room aboard the orbital diplomatic station. "The problem isn't political," Parker explained, displaying images of the home worlds of various council species. It's biological and cultural. Every founding council species evolved as prey animals on their home planets. The room went quiet as both humans and aliens considered this statement. Their evolutionary psychology is fundamentally different from ours, Parker continued. Humans evolved as persistent hunters who faced danger head-on. Council species evolved to detect threats early and avoid confrontation whenever possible. Ambassador Zixlar's large eyes blinked rapidly. This is true, though we rarely discuss it with outsider species. Parker nodded. Your entire council structure is built around containing threats through rules and control. But humans see rules as guidelines that sometimes need to be broken. We value independence and self-determination above stability. This explains much, said Elder Thoxfa, who had joined the meeting remotely. Your rejection of our treaties wasn't aggression as we feared. It was simply your natural desire for freedom. Exactly, replied Parker. And your desire to control us wasn't malicious. It was your natural response to a potential threat. Based on this new understanding, Earth's diplomatic approach changed dramatically. Rather than attempting to negotiate with the full council, Ambassador Greg Peterson's team began establishing direct relations with individual member species. The Tellarites are interested in our agricultural methods, Peterson told President Harding during a secure briefing. The Norva want our help developing new medicine. Each species has needs that Earth can meet without requiring their submission. And they're willing to bypass council protocols, asked Harding. That's the surprising part, Peterson replied. Many species have quietly chafed under council restrictions for centuries, but were too afraid to object. Our example has inspired them. Within weeks, Earth had signed independent treaties with 7 council species. Each agreement was unique, addressing specific needs and offering protection, resources, and technological exchange without demanding control. Council unity began to fracture as more species sought direct relations with humans. The diplomatic corps operated with a new directive created by Peterson. Understand their fears, address their needs, demonstrate our reliability. On the colony world New Terra, human and Tellarite scientists worked side by side developing crops that could grow in both environments. In orbit around Jupiter, human engineers helped Norvan medical researchers establish a new facility that would benefit both species. They're still afraid of us, Peterson explained to his team. But they're beginning to see that working with humans offers more benefits than trying to control us. Not everyone supported this new approach. A faction led by Ambassador Krell continued to push for stricter measures against Earth. Junior Council member Drav had been removed from his position after the failed attack, but his supporters remained powerful. Meanwhile, the Void entity signals continued to grow stronger. Earth and its new allies increased their monitoring of the galactic rim, sharing data and preparing defenses. In her lab, Dr. Parker continued studying council psychology. The irony, she told a colleague, is that their fear of us might save them from a much worse threat. How so? Asked the colleague. Because humans don't run from danger, Parker replied. We run toward it. And for the first time in 3,000 years, the Council has allies who aren't afraid to fight. 10 years had passed since humans first encountered the Galactic Council. The Grand Conference Hall on Earth's moon, Luna, was filled with representatives from over 50 alien species. The massive dome overhead revealed the stars and Earth hanging in the black sky, a beautiful blue jewel. Admiral John Carter, now Earth's senior representative, stood beside the new council leader, Ambassador Zixlar. Together, they prepared to sign the charter creating the Interstellar Cooperative, replacing the old Galactic Council structure. If someone had told me 10 years ago we would be standing here as equals, I would not have believed them, said Zixlar, his voice carrying through the hall's perfect acoustics. Change is hard, replied Carter, but necessary. The past decade had transformed galactic politics. After Dr. Parker's breakthrough understanding of council psychology, relations had improved steadily. Earth had formed direct partnerships with 32 Council species. These relationships had proven so successful that even species loyal to the old Council structure began to question the need for strict control protocols. Ambassador Krell and his supporters had resisted at first, even attempting a military coup against the Council leadership. But with human support, Elder Thoxpa had maintained order, and Krell had eventually been removed from power. Zixlar addressed the assembled representatives. Today we acknowledge a new way forward. The old Council was built on fear and control. The new cooperative is built on mutual respect and common goals. Carter nodded and added, "We feared what we did not understand." The Council approached space with caution born from their evolutionary history. Humans approached it with the boldness of explorers. Both perspectives have value. "The Council believed your rejection of our treaties was aggression," admitted Zixlar. "We now understand it was simply self-determination. And we mistook your caution for hostility," replied Carter, "when it was wisdom born from experience." Together they signed the Charter, which guaranteed independence for all member species while establishing common defense, trade, and scientific cooperation. Each representative then added their signature, marking a new age in galactic history. As the ceremony concluded, an urgent message arrived. The large display at the front of the hall activated, showing a tactical officer from the Joint Defense Fleet. "Priority alert to all cooperative members," announced the officer. "We have confirmed void entity activity in Sector 87. 3 ships have been lost. The entities are moving into populated systems." Carter and Zixlar exchanged glances. For years, they had prepared for this moment, building defenses and creating joint response plans. "All defense fleets, move to your assigned positions," ordered Zixlar without hesitation. "Activate the quantum shield network," added Carter. Throughout the hall, representatives hurried to coordinate their planet's responses. There was no panic, only organized action. The new cooperative had been designed with this threat in mind. In space, a joint human council fleet moved into position at the edge of the threatened sector. Ships of various designs formed a united defensive line. The lead vessel, commanded by Admiral Douglas, carried weapons systems developed through the combined knowledge of 20 different species. On Luna, Carter and Zixlar moved to the command center below the conference hall. Holographic displays showed the approaching void entities, dark, shifting forms that seemed to bend light around them. "Are we ready for this?" asked a nervous representative from a small council world. "Together, we are," replied Carter with calm confidence. Zixlar turned to the human admiral. "The species that we feared most has become our greatest ally, just when the galaxy needed it most." Carter smiled slightly. "Perhaps that was destiny. Your wisdom and our courage combined against a common threat." As the defense fleet engaged the first void entities, the newly signed charter glowed on the display behind them. The top line read, "We stand together, independent yet united, to face whatever challenges the universe presents." The species that had once feared each other now faced a real threat side by side. And for the first time in galactic history, both humans and council species felt the strength that came from true cooperation rather than control.